Welcome, Fins Nation. This is your boy Fins Mechanic, and I'm here with Coach. And another special guest is going to come out here pretty soon, so keep a watch on that. But I want to first say thank you guys for joining us, and please give us a follow. Give the Five Reasons Sports a page a follow, and the Inside Leverage, and of course the guys from Inside Leverage a follow. Not to mention, guys, it's the end of the season. The postseason is here. Set yourself up for Prize Picks, the official fantasy partner of Five Reasons Sports. Listen, it's simple. I've talked about it all season. All you have to do once you sign up, use the promo code 5 with a $5 purchase, and what they'll do is give you an extra $50 to play with no additional cost. No, nothing. No, none of that. Just use the promo code 5. That's FIVE. You put your $5 play, and they'll give you $50 to play. Kind of get yourself acclimated for the final season. Kind of get your bearings in order. So once that playoff season comes in, you're ready to go, and you know who you're choosing. Prize Picks. Coach, what's
Yes,
going
sir.
on? How you doing? Happy Thursday and Happy New Year to you.
Happy New Year to you, man. Happy New Year to everybody watching out there. I'm doing well, man. I've taken some time off here, just trying to chill and reflect and get myself geared up for this new year, bro. Got a lot of big things for us here. A lot of big things for Five Reasons Sports. So make sure you stay locked in here with us. But enough of that, man. What do you think? What's the newest news, or I guess the injury report going into this week against the Jets?
Yeah, for sure. So it looks like we have a couple of do not practice. Teron Armstead, Jordan Poyer, and also Anthony Walker. They all three have not practiced so far, heading to the final day tomorrow. So might be that those guys might not be playing for this coming Sunday, the last game of the season. Some limiters. You have your Tua. You have Javon Holland, who was limited. Also, Jalen Waddle. He mentioned in the presser he felt good, so it looks like he might be playing this final game. Bad news though for Tua. Played practicing a limited basis. Didn't really do nothing per Barry Jackson's article. Check it out at the Miami Herald. Did a couple throws. Didn't really use his hips to make throws. Didn't practice with the receiver. So, I mean, he's rehabbing. The term aggressive was used in his in them telling of how the process of him rehabbing per Frank Smith, but he was limited. So I'm guessing if the rehab is aggressive, they want to see how he feels the next day so they can move forward. So he has one more day to have to see if he can have a full designation practice in order to play, but it doesn't look like it's happening. And then for the looks like for the Jets, a lot of guys didn't practice for them. Their tight end Tyler Conklin, Sauce Gardner didn't practice, and Morgan Mogus didn't practice for the second day. Quentin Williams also didn't practice. So some key guys, even their guard Vera Tucker didn't practice for the second day so far. So they got one more day for them. If they don't practice, it looks like they're not going to be playing. So it'll be interesting to see. I'm not sure what you think about so far of the injury report.
I don't know, man. It's again, it's an important game, obviously for us. The Jets have basically packed it in for a couple weeks now. All reports indicate that. I think even Sauce Gardner had come out and mentioned that to the press, which is pretty sad. DJ Reed has some comments about his his free agent status coming up. So it seems like to me that thing's been falling apart. They don't have much to play for. Again, I am one always by experience. I never underestimate my opponent. If I gotta, I gotta make sure that I take care of my business. If I got my foot on their throat, I'm gonna keep it there. I'm gonna go for the kill. Don't underestimate anybody. But that being said, considering the situation with Tua, being that he has this hip injury, regardless what you think, if it's a hip pointer or a hip flexor, a very debilitating injury, by the way. If anybody who's ever experienced that or has any knowledge of that, it's a very debilitating. It's a very cumbersome injury that does take some time to heal. But that being said, I think that with the way Tyler Huntley performed last week against Cleveland, um, and the variables of what the situation is up in New Jersey, I don't see why we shouldn't beat the New York Jets Week 18 handling our business. Of course, as everybody knows, we are contingent on what happens with between the Chiefs and the Broncos. But that being said, I think our part of it, we should handle our part with no problem. I don't know. I'm pretty sure you share the same sentiment, but the floor is yours. You want to go ahead and expand on that a little bit?
Yeah, and I agree. It's an unfortunate situation. You kind of want your quarterback, your QB franchise quarterback, to be there, especially to end the season. And not only that, for me, I think having that last game just to kind of warm yourself up heading into the playoffs if we make it. Um, so I mean, I get it, and it makes sense that this is a depleted dis. Uh, Not involved type Jets team that's just ready just to end the season. So it is going to be somewhat of less competition out there. But again, you still want to kind of get yourself going, especially for the a chance to get to the playoffs and see how things end. Tyler Huntley has been did play well this past game, and now that he's taking majority of the reps, which I feel like that's smart because you're still in limbo with the injury with Tua. Now he's going to be more comfortable in the pocket, and he's gonna be able to do some things. Now there is some injuries in the offensive line that I did not mention. It looks like Kendall Lamb has been put to IR. We acquired a Braden Daniels from Iowa. Was drafted from the Commanders, fourth round last year. A versatile tackle, can play left and right. Played some guard. I don't know how they feel about that. Do you have any thoughts on him? Have you done any little research on him?
I didn't, but I did see the little blurb that you sent in our group chat that we have, and his, his scouting or his initial scouting report coming out of college wasn't bad. Okay, I can tell you that. I didn't really. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna sit here in front and say, "Oh, I watched tape on this guy," and I did it. I haven't. I haven't done that. But if all intents and purposes, what's the harm in adding a guy like that has some potential, you know, to this mix, which I feel that in the offseason they will be making upgrades, considering that both Eichenberg and Jones are both free agents. I don't know if either one of those guys will be retained, but throwing another body out there that has potential, there's nothing wrong with that at all.
I agree, and a little bit from what I've seen, a very athletic, can move, can if it, can mirror a defender. Bit on the smaller side, but he has some power to him. I saw a couple good blocks in the running game. So there's some upside that I'm really looking forward to once we head to the off season training camp and all that good stuff. It is a good strategy to get somebody early in and kind of kick the tires to see what they got because we do need a revamp on this offensive line. Not only the starters, specifically at the guard, but also depth, the tackle, and the guard position. So it's going to be important to fill this roster up with young to prime ready players that have upside and that can kind of keep us consistent with our injury with less injuries and guys on the field. So it'll be interesting to see. Looks like Jackson Cameron is going to probably be at the right tackle. I saw that he was practicing with Paul and Armstead, kind of coaching them up, kind of helping them out with the techniques and everything. So it's going to be interesting. But Daniels is a versatile player, can play both sides, like I mentioned. So I don't know how quickly he'll get acclimated. From what I was looking at from the Commanders preseason games, if you guys have the all 22, I recommend you look at 23 and 2024 preseason games of Daniels. It looks like they run the same system. It felt like that way. So maybe it won't be a hard transition for him to kind of get acclimated quickly, especially for this last season, possibly to the playoffs. So that would be interesting to see. So,
I'll tell you what, just to add one more thing, I think they should be targeting probably a swing tackle only because obviously Kendall Lamb was on the verge of retirement before he signed with us this year. So he came back for one last ride, and obviously now he ends up on IR on the last game of the season. The guy's a warrior. He did what he could. Went back. I'm sure he has a love for the game, and he came back and tried to help us. But I think it seems to me that it's his time. So, and also you're looking at another decision. Although I know Mike was politicking, he wants to make sure that Armstead comes back, but he's another guy that his unfortunately you get to an age where your body starts to betray you. As good as you have, physical, not physical, but mentally, the knowledge of the game and technique, but your body starts to betray you. It's it might be time for him to hang it up. So
I
let's see
agree.
how that works out.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, and who knows what's going to happen? Is he going to even play this game? At this point,
Right.
he's more preferred to probably be a coach. Seems like he's a great leader out there, teaching the young guys, kind of helping them out with the techniques and stuff like that. So, yeah, and Daniels could be a guy that could be that swing tackle. I'm also interested to seeing Keon Smith, who had the ACL tear. Wondering, he did well for us in 23 when he was a fill-in. So I'm wondering if that's a guy that they might consider bringing back in check. But he was injured, so you don't know how he will look with that ACL tear coming back. So yeah, they got a lot of uh, uh, things to discuss as far as revamping this offensive line. Transitioning to the keys to the game, I know this is the last game of the season. It's more important for the Finns than the Jets, so I'm sure that we're gonna come in serious and motivated to get the dub. Um, I know that we can't control what happens after that, so we're hoping that the Broncos will lose against the Chiefs. But what are your keys to the games heading to this Jets and Dolphins game?
Listen, I think that most importantly, I know that considering the injury report, I think that we got to find a way to protect Tyler Huntley and not have him get as much. It's going to be hard considering, like I said, the injuries both on the Jet side and our side, more so on our side because the offensive line is kind of falling apart a little bit. Again, but that's another topic for another day. But we do we do need to find a way to allow him to at least be able to operate and get some semblance of an offense to be able to score some points. He should be even more comfortable, having a second consecutive week of preparation, um, especially against a team that, yeah, for all intents and purposes, should be laying down. Okay, and on defense, I think that we have to, you know, it seems to me from what I'm reading as far as the quotes or whatever, I think Aaron Rodgers is checked out, man. I think he's ready to move on. I think he's ready to, just retire and or even just move on and get out of the Jets organization. It seems like a shit show. Pardon my French, but it, you know, if you can get push pressure on him, man, get him put on the ground somehow. You're not gonna blitz this guy. He's very savvy. If we can get pressure somehow with the front four, maybe Sealer, Calais Campbell's been playing out of his freaking mind. If we can find a way to get pressure on him and start making some early mistakes, I think by midway through the third quarter, the game's going to be out of, it'll be done.
Yeah, I agree. And with Vera Tucker possibly not playing this game, that's another key offensive line player that's not going to be able to protect him this last game of the season. So guys like Sealer, Calais, and Chop, it's a bit of a little bit of an advantage now for offense specifically. We got to execute and not hurt ourselves like we have been this whole entire season with penalties. I know that was a kind of a rough start for us this last game, and I know things we settled down, but with a full practice with Huntley, with kind of
Hey,
hey, there he is,
look who's here!
and our special guest. Whoa, Wonka. What's
Wow.
going on?
Wow.
Hi.
I'm mobile, so my reception might be bad. But listen, bro,
Oh,
you stop being. Can you hear me? Can you guys hear me clearly?
oh, we
We
can
hear
hear you loud. We
clearly,
can hear you
yes,
loud and
loud
clear.
and clear.
Oh my God! Can you stop talking about the Jets like they're actually a football team?
But
Oh,
that's exactly what we said.
they're not a football team. These guys are a joke. Their leader is a druggie. Everybody's tapped out.
Hey, yo.
Yo, bro, listen, bro. Like I'm not gonna hold you, man. Like once you get a point in your life that you're so happy that you're cool. Aaron Rodgers is hanging out, bro. He got paid. He don't want to play. Garrett Wilson's asking for a trade. DJ
Bro,
Reed
wait,
wants a
isn't
trade.
that what I said? This guy.
Sauce Gardner wasn't no because mechanic over here says we need two up, but that's another discussion for another time.
Listen.
Oh.
That's another discussion. I still stand on that statement. I don't care what you say.
How y'all feel about the tackles?
We were
A
just
little
talking about that.
concerned. A little
Yeah.
concerned, but we always can scheme stuff. You know what I'm saying? We always can scheme. We can set a tight end or a receiver. They use the defensive end on that side or any other side usually line up over outside of the shoulder of whoever's lined up next to the right tackle because they don't want to be susceptible to a outside zone or a toss, and they compromise the the outside of their this what I'm trying to say. So I think if you have that kind of delays the rusher to come in, so that would help Cameron Jackson or whoever's going to be at that right tackle to set himself up with good technique and ready to punch the crap out of that guy, whoever that is. So, and I'm not really afraid above the Jets ends, especially on that left side, man. I thought Paul did a great job the last Jets game against whoever Clemens or
Yeah.
whoever was on that side. So
Yeah.
that's just how I feel. But it's a little concerning.
You know how you resolve that? You run the ball.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like I think you should run the ball. Whatever's like if you're starting Patrick Paul on the left side, which would be ideal, or it'll be ideal, or even on the right side because you could like triple that up with Brewer, Wynn, and Paul. So you could run the outside toss, you could run the inside. I was thinking maybe use a Jalen Wright this game, maybe you use a Jeff Wilson a lot this game, and we know like Quentin Williams that game. So I think we could run inside to on the Jets and stay away from like exposing our tackles and stuff like that. Run
I
good
agree.
screen, run
Exactly.
misdirections and stuff like that. That's where I'm at.
Wally, why don't we use a 6-man offensive line? Isn't it the perfect time?
Have you ever seen Mike McDaniel do that?
Unfortunately, no.
Bro, I was
If he has very little, I don't think it's
Very
gonna
little.
be-
Dude, you guys, I was watching the Detroit Lion game and I would watch that extra lineman come in, and it was just beautiful. And remember when I told you guys at the beginning of the season, we might use our Patrick Paul. And in Mike's defense, listen, we're not full goal with the tackle, so maybe that is something he doesn't have a package for.
That's a great point. Yeah.
So I don't think he could go 6. My issue with this, my only concern here for real is the inconsistencies with the guys that we rely to block other guys, like i.e. the tight ends. And Alec Ingo is not in that group because Alec Ingo's been very, very solid. But Hill and Smith, they've been getting manhandled. And there's also they've made blocks. Keyword inconsistency. And that's my only concern.
I agree.
But listen, it's not only I'm not going to become an apologist, but it's not only the offensive line and the tight end. Sometimes I've seen, and it's been pointed out by Coach Eric. Shout out to Coach Eric. I know he's out there watching. And I've noticed myself in games where the running back ends up not cutting back or hitting the wrong hole.
Yes, and not seeing the vision. Yeah.
Right, exactly, not having the vision. Right. So what people fail to understand is you get caught up and emotional in the moment, but there's so many moving parts in this game. Somebody misses a block. Somebody doesn't have their does their assignment properly. Maybe the play call is not ideal for the situation or the down and distance. But if there's execution, that it's a positive play. And it feels like there's always something. Durham Smythe will miss a block. Jeff Wilson misses a cutback, or Julian Hill, or there's a holding call by Tyreek or somebody on the outside, a penalty. Yeah. So it's always something. And I can't sit here and tell you with conviction that it's always going to be a coaching problem, because you make the play call. If the execution is there, it's a positive play.
And this is why we need this game as a polishing game heading to the playoffs. Again, I know that we have to win and we have to rely on the Broncos to lose. But if that's the case, if and when that's the case, we need this Jets game for the other guys to limit the penalties, execute, and use that momentum heading to the playoffs so we can be efficient, effective, and execution with Tua at the helm. So there's a lot on this game that I feel that's gonna help us, and we need to make sure that we're doing our jobs and being effective. So it's not just to win; it's to set yourself up for the playoffs because we're going to be facing likely the Bills, more than likely the Bills, and we can't make mistakes like we did. Those small mistakes, those penalties, those fumbles, we need to be on point. And how
This
you
is
do
the
that,
way.
that momentum. You know what I'm saying? So
Wally. So on that note, no, Junior asked me what the keys to the game are. What are your keys to the game?
I might be in a dead zone, so if you can hear me, let me know.
No, you're good. You're good.
All right. My keys to the game, man, is goes back to complimentary football and just do your job, dude. I was watching it piggy back to what you were saying earlier about a guy missing an assignment, a block, a holding. Dude, there was a play last game that even the commentator was like, yo, if he would have held, that play would have worked. And I'm like, yo, you imagine how many times Mike has said that and watching the tape. So to me, play like to me like the keys to the game. It's like you can call me the French of today's show, but just just play a clean damn game, man. Play like you want to get into the playoffs, and play like you're a damn playoff team. Don't just squeeze by. Just look. As much as you guys think, oh, the Broncos can beat the Chiefs, no, they can't. You know why? Because that same Chiefs team, that whole roster is better than the Broncos. One play doesn't make the band stop. So I believe that they could beat them. We got to do our part. And if we don't do our part, bro, something has to change. But
Yeah, if we do, yeah, it's not gonna matter. Bottom line, it's not gonna matter. If we don't win, it doesn't matter if the Broncos lose because we won't get in.
yeah,
So we got to go out and handle our own business, right, Junior?
for sure, and it's important for us to take care of the business now that Huntley again got the full reps doing his thing. The offensive line needs to be on point. That means Cameron. That means I really hope Wynn is the full guy on that right side. I think at this point he's slowly taking the reps away,
I mean,
and
we didn't see Liam that much at the end of the game when the game was in hand. So
yeah,
I think Wayne is not fully healthy, like
agree.
100. So I think they're just playing him out there.
Yeah, fully acclimated. He's ready to go and take it to the next step if once we make it to the playoffs. So, guys, any final thoughts or predictions? Actually, what is your predictions for the game? Not the score,
Dolphins,
the predictions of
Dolphins,
the game.
Dolphins win.
Yeah.
I'm gonna predict the Javon Holland pick six. Javon Holland is easily scooping back to his usual level of good football. He had one blunder last game, but overall he had a really good game. So he paid his dividends. So I'm gonna predict the interception by him. Zach Sealer's gonna have 3 sacks.
Oof. I know. French is out there. He's happy as hell right now.
Oh man, that's going to eclipse him to the 10 and a half, 10,
He
11 sacks.
he
I
has
need
eight,
that.
he
Bro,
has 8.5 right now, bro. They
you
snubbed
talk
him from the
about you talk about you talk about a bargain right now, and people out there wanted to pay 25 mil for Christian Wilkins.
for who?
Listen,
Exactly.
Oh
That,
I'm just saying.
that's how I feel about Christian Wilkins, man. We Sealer has Sealer has made that man look like he was nothing out here.
Oh, and I want to make this official. I am officially on the Jordan Brooks train. I am.
Oh wow.
Well, no. Listen, I liked the signing in the beginning, but I was waiting and waiting and waiting. This guy's a real deal. Whoever even thought and didn't thought about that it was a lateral move from him from Baker to him was way off base.
Bro,
Yeah,
they said
Way
there
off
was
base.
there was a talking head, a professional talking head. I won't say any names, but called him a small linebacker.
Mm, that guy's a dog.
just you know what I'm saying.
I think he's the biggest dog since Junior Seau. And if you know, you know.
Oh, for sure.
You know my prediction.
Tell me.
I feel like Dotson might get another INT this game.
Dude,
He's so
he's been playing.
Yeah.
man, especially in coverage.
Hey,
We
he's a
need
free
that.
agent next year, by the way.
We gotta sign him back.
I
Get
mean,
him, and then get a guy in the draft. I mean that trio, that pairing right now.
Yeah,
No
I was
offense to
looking at.
Walker.
No, of course, no. But I mean, Walker's got his limitations. Let's be
Yeah,
real. You know,
yeah.
we're
I
just
mean,
being honest.
but look, the same limitations we thought about Dodson is the same limitations that Walker is supposed to have, and right now it's not showing that Walker has any limitations. He has good run support and pass support.
Yeah, you know, he's
Uh,
been picked on a little bit in the past game. So,
yeah. I think you can see the difference in Dotson
oh
and
yeah,
Walker in
He's
the
a better
past
cut.
game.
He's better
Yeah,
than Walker. I'll tell you that much.
yeah. But you're right though. You're right though. I do. I don't know if they'll bring him back. Maybe kind of sub replace um Riley and Tyndall for a drafty in Walker. I don't know if they'll do something like that, but um I really love Dotson and what he can do in the coverage. So
hey, before we get out of here, and we'll try to make this quick, I guess, a quick answer. It seems like obviously it's a hot topic amongst the fan base. Do you guys see a scenario where Chris Greer comes back as GM? You know, like 30 seconds or less, because we're almost out of here.
so I'm gonna be a little lengthy. For me again, I'm gonna stand on this. I'm gonna be wishy washy about it. I don't mind him to be here, but I wouldn't be upset if he leaves. I see both points. I see both sides. He has provided some good players here. The problem is the ones that he didn't are real bad because they're not available or they just haven't worked out. Maybe a fresh new eyes can help McDaniel set things up correctly where we're looking at the offensive line and we're getting young guys and all that good stuff. But I don't mind the continuity of keeping him to kind of prove himself. Hey, I can fix this. We can fix this. Let's. This is how we're gonna do it. But if he's gone, I don't care. As long as McDaniel is here, that's all I care about. McDaniel and Tua and this the rest of the coaching staff. That's where I'm at.
Wally, you're up.
Man, listen.
30 seconds.
Nah, man, bring him back. Bring him back.
What?
Yes, because hear me out.
Wow,
Hold
that's a
on.
180
Let
right
me get
there.
my.
Hold on.
If it's 30 seconds, I'll take my 30 seconds.
Go. I give you now. I give you 30 seconds.
I think it's because of the simple fact. You know how we old folks say, "Coach, the devil you know," and he has the leg to stand on to make a good case. Look to me if he identifies his issues and his blunders, you can always fix them because you know he can make things work. He's a masterful dealsman. And bro, outside of Chris Greer, nobody makes those deals and those trades that Chris does. So that he has a leg to stand on. He's not going to be without a job for a long time. But you have to see a guy that's willing to adapt. If he's willing to adapt and get with the program with Mike, because Mike has overtaken him in the ladder, I see a way, a pattern to him returning. But if he's gone, I don't have an issue with it. I'm like mechanic. As long as you bring Mike and Tua, we good. But if he's back, I won't understand it. But I'm gonna tell you right now, a lot of people will write it.
No, you guys know me. I try to be as fair as possible. My issue, I see the point, exactly what you're saying, that there's a case to be made why he should be, because he hasn't been horrible with not every GM hits on every draft pick, not every GM hits on every free agent. Okay, my biggest issue, my biggest two issues with him is the bargain bin shopping, but that might be a product of having to pay money for bigger money for players, okay, and having to fill out a roster. And number two, not identifying and addressing a major issue that we've had with this franchise probably since Ryan Tannehill.
It's Dan
Okay,
Marino.
I mean, bro, but Dan had a good offensive line. It was always at worst. It was you know
but it
respectable.
wasn't complete. It wasn't a run. Then the running game
He
had
No, no,
never
no.
issues.
But
he
but
never
look,
but
if you
Dan never had a legit running back, bro.
if you tell I'll give up any line that Dan Marino had just to get to her. I'll tell you
You
right
know,
now,
no, 100%, bro.
Yeah,
You can
agree.
go interior. You could go Kevin Donnelly,
bro. Just
and God, what's
bro.
this guy's name? And Jamie Nails, bro. And those guys were like at the end of closer to the end of their careers, and it's such a big upgrade to what we have now. Tua's jersey would be pristine.
You,
Right.
The running game the running game would be out of control.
you imagine
Okay.
Dirty Dog Incognito in this?
Oh,
He would set a tone.
Oh my
He
god!
would set a
Oh
tone.
bro,
my
that's what I
god!
want, bro.
That's
That's
what
what
I
I want. I
need.
want
That's what
some
I
nasties,
need.
bro.
Like, bro, I remember I told you guys I want plays that are right between the edge, and I feel like we're not there yet.
No, we're
And
not. Yep.
and I think we have a lot of good guys that have great personalities. They're really good guys.
Okay, so wait, I don't mean to interrupt. So, do you trust Chris is going to get these guys with his track record? Remember, you can't just make things up out of air. Look at his track record and his history. You think does Chris deserve another shot with the draft picks that we have to build that? Do you trust him to build that offensive line,
Yeah, I do.
Junior?
I do. Why
Yeah,
wouldn't you? Why
You
wouldn't
I
you?
do?
Like
would. Yeah,
I
because
just
he
I
drafted Hunt.
yeah, I just think if they have to be all aligned. He
Right,
has to be in tuned with Mike and Ross and everybody that's gonna be there. It can't be Chris wants this and Mike wants that, so we gotta compromise. It can't be
No,
that.
right.
but this
Because
is listen.
it's look.
Go ahead, go ahead, go ahead.
I think he gotta empower. Look, I think Mike now has more power, more kind of shit with the players, but Chris has more
Bro,
experience.
he listen. We were told, not going to mention names like Wally says. We were told that Mike McDaniel had lost the locker room. Has what we've seen in the last couple weeks. Basically, we've been on playing playoff games for the last 6 weeks. Have you seen that team as a lost locker room, not
Six
playing
and
for that
two,
guy?
6-2, up until this point.
Bro, they're playing for each other.
Hmm.
Like, you have to be in these situations to understand what these guys are professionals. And you build a repertoire and a camaraderie with these with players.
Here's what I would
They
say.
they play hard for this guy.
I would say this. I think for the sake of job security, and this is where Ross needs to come in and say, listen, you guys are there, but we need to figure it out, or it's adios. So I think where
Adios.
job security is threatened, that's when compromise and figuring out how to revamp things comes to play. So somebody needs to be threatened, or if not, let go. It can't be give a shot and then just let it roll. You need to be threatened. Your job security need to be threatened.
Not
To,
even
to
that, bro. You don't have to threaten nobody because he know what he gotta do. He knows. So to me, is if they're gonna match identity idealistically and get the guys they need. Because oh, Mike likes fast guys. This Chris Greer doesn't like drafting running backs early. Da 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 da. Mike has gotten the cachet to do that, and he's been right. But also, Mike is the same guy that let Wes Welker draft Easy E. The same guy, you know what I mean? Like the cachet that Mike has, he could be he could be brought to the forefront and be like, hey man, you're not delivering. So to me, both cases could be made. So Chris has a leg to stand on. But the fact that he let Van Ginkel walk and some of these players walk, and I'm gonna tell you something. Are you fake fans? Oh my God, Van Ginkel. Yo, Van Ginkel is a Viking. He's an op. I'm not celebrating Van Ginkel going to the Pro Bowl. I don't care about Van Ginkel. And by the way, Chop is better than Van Ginkel.
I never understood why
Shut
people
up.
yeah.
Thank
Chop
you.
is better than Van Ginkel.
Jordan Brooks is better than Van Ginkel. So sometimes you got it. That move is very justifiable and understandable. You cannot say the same thing about Robert Hunt. You can't. That cannot be said. Or Brandon Jones, which I've been called you. I told you about Brandon
Mm,
Jones. Yeah, I want to listen to me.
I'll give you a little pushback on that one.
Brandon. So you're telling me that Brandon Jones and Javon
That
Holland will not be killing this off?
that has to be another conversation because
Yeah,
Huh?
we're getting, we got to save that for the next
He's
one.
not better. He wouldn't be better than Jordan Poyer right now.
No, yes, I agree.
yes, but there's a reason why he's not here.
Oh my! You know what? You guys are haters. You don't want to give my flowers. You guys want to give my flowers,
And
but you guys don't want to give my flowers. You guys are
no,
haters.
no. You right. And he's showing that, but I don't know if it's for another topic.
Yes, I agree.
Guys,
Either way
any
that
final
happen,
words?
I'm tired of it. I'm tired of this Van Ginkel
Yeah,
talk.
Me too.
Like
Me
our
too.
linebackers are way better today.
fact.
Way better. Van Ginkel is a great story. He was a homegrown guy. We found him. We drafted him. Yada yada yada. You loved his hair. I'm gonna tell you something. If Van Ginkel had a low boy like this and looked like me, none of you guys would be talking about him.
Thanks.
But since he looks like the way he looks,
Like
you'll get
Thor,
crushed.
yes,
Because
yes.
you guys, you always want to climb up to your
Hey,
knights.
Hey, yo.
And I get it.
Profanity.
Well, you're knights. There's nothing against a knight, though. You know, it's a knight. You're looking for your great hope, your knights. I don't want to say
Hey.
You see what
On
I'm
that note,
guys,
guys,
man, may see you hit that price pick 5. See, you know what I'm saying? That price, yo, man, that 5. They get 50. You get $50. Fist for the win. You know what I'm talking about? Hey, man, if you lost your hat somewhere, you know what I'm saying? Maybe you could buy one of our hats. We got cool hats.
I'm just saying.
With these funky ass hats that you be finding, you can find an Inside Leverage t-shirt somewhere. You might go to a game. I might
Hey, listen. Shout out to everybody that tuned in, man. Shout out to Five Reasons Sports, bro. We're here. Shout out to Manny working in the background, baby. Shout out to everybody watching again. Thanks for the support. Thanks for the haters. We ain't going nowhere, baby.
We making new hats. We making new hats, baby.
Let's go.
Peace up.